Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Sri Saraswatyay Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Shankaram Lokashankaram Samastajana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Sri Tapovana Sishyaya Namaha. So let us do the Shanti Patha for the Chandogya Upanishad. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramadho Balamindriyani cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu Tadatmani nirate Upanishadsu dharmaha Te mai santu ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Hari Om. Last week we have gone over the meaning of the Shanti Mantra. We also went through the general introduction and what kind of attitude a student should have in order to make most use of the Upanishadic teaching. The phala of Upanishad teaching is Atyanta Dukkha Nivurti, removal of the sorrow in its entirety, along with the root cause. Atyanta, from the root cause out. Atyanta Dukkha Nivurti and Paramananda Prapti, attainment of absolute happiness, is the phala, is the result of owning the knowledge of Upanishad. And how do we own it? Last week I've mentioned, in addition to having qualifications such as a ethical life and also doing Nishkama Karma, and then having Upasana, will help the mind to be free from the basic rut it is involved with. Then Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana. Listening to scriptural teaching, which is in this case Upanishads, Vedantonam Upanishad, and then Manana, reflecting upon it to clear all the doubts, and then Nitidhyasana, by owning it as our own, by removing the contrary identifications. Okay, so I mentioned this. Now, initially, there were supposed to be about 1,181 Upanishads, out of which about 108 are mentioned. And then Bhagavan Shankaracharya wrote commentary on 10 of them. Because he took those 10 Upanishads as the foundational doctrine to propound Advaita philosophy. And he used them in the explanation of Brahma Sutras. Those 10 are Kena Prasna Katha Munda Mandukya Tittirihi Aitareyamcha Chadogyam Prahadaranyakam Tadha. So these 10 Upanishads, they are very famous. So Chandogya is one of them. He wrote commentary on this. The speciality of Chandogya Upanishad is, it is usually taken as in the Shastra, Mimamsa Shastra, where they analyze the subject matter using some logic. Chandogya Upanishad is used. For example, I will give you the उपक्रमोपसंहारो अभ्यासो अपूर्वता फलम अर्धवादोपपत्ति च लिंगम तात्पर्य निर्णये. In Upanishad, how do we determine the tatparya of a subject matter? There are given 6 lingas are given. What you start and what you end, there has to be a consistency. Abhyasaha, they keep on repeating what they have to say. Apurvata, it is something that you do not know now, but you realize as a part of this. Phalam, what kind of result you get out of this. Ardhavadam, it has to, they glorify the essence of teaching, and then, and by repeating also give some stories. Upapatti, they give several examples. And Chandogya has all these lakshanas very clearly defined. That's why Chandogya Upanishad is very famous. From this Upanishad, particularly chapter 6, which we are going to say, itself is enough for us to get. Number one, it has 16 sections. The first section, it introduces the teacher and the student to us. And then sections 2 to 7, it examines Thampada. What is the nature of the jiva? As I mentioned in the last class, Vedanta is the science of life. How does it become science? You should have analysis of the individual through Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhuti. Anubhuti means experience, Yukti means logic, and Shruti means giving you pramana, means of knowledge. Then the 8th chapter will actually explains Tattvam Asi. Sorry, first 2 to 7 chapters, I apologize, they discuss Tatpada. It's very simple, Tatpada. And then the 8th chapter discuss Asi, who you are that, you are that. And then 9 to 16th, the connection. Let me repeat. I rushed myself a little bit. So let me repeat. Let me correct myself. First chapter is introduction of the Guru and Sishya, number one. In 2nd to 7th chapter, the discussion of Tat, Jagat. 8th chapter, Tvam Pada Vichara, Vichara of the Jiva. And then 9 to 16, the Vichara of the connection between Tat, Tvam, Asi, the connection between them. So 9 to 16, 9 to 16, Asi Pada, the connection between them. Okay. So this is a very comprehensive Upanishad. So with this introduction, we'll move on now. Let us first go to the first mantra. Yes. Om Shwetaketu Aruneya Asa Thagumha Pito Vacha Shwetaketu Vasa Brahmacharyam Navai Saumya Asmat Kulino Ananucha Brahma Bandhuriva Bhavati iti. And let me chant it again. Om Shwetaketu Aruneya Asa Thagumhapito Vacha Shwetaketu Vasa Brahmacharyam Navai Saumya Asmat Kulino Ananucha Brahma Bandhuriva Bhavati iti. Let us do mantra number 2 also. Yes. Saha dvadasavarshaha upetya चतुर्विंशति वर्षः सर्वान् वेदान् अधीत्य महामनाः अनूचमानि स्तब्ध एव एयाय तगुंह पितोवाच श्वेतकेतो यन्नु सौम्य इदं महामनाः अनूचानमानि स्तब्धो असि युत तमादेशम् अप्राक्षेः. I will read it again. सः द्वादशवर्षः उपेत्य चतुर्विंशतिवर्षः सर्वान् वेदान् अधीत्य महामनाः अनूचानमानि स्तब्ध एव एयाय तगुंह पितोवाच श्वेतकेतो यन्नु सौम्य इदं महामना अनूचानमानि स्तब्धः अश्युत तम् आदेशमप्राक्षेः. Okay. So Shwetaketuhu Aruneya Asa. Shwetaketuhu Aruneya Asa. They're introducing the characters. There is a small story in this. Just like in Kathopanishad, it's not a very big, it's very simple Akhyayika story. So there are two characters, Shwetaketuhu Aruneya Asa. They were. So Aruneya, the way it is, Aruna is the name of one person. Aruna is the name of his son. Aruneya means grandson. That's how the derivation comes. Dasaratha, Dasaratha is his son, like that. Here it goes one more level. Aruneya. So Aruneya is the name of the father. So one person. Shwetaketuhu is the other person. Aruneya, in the later on, it will come as Uddalaka. The name is actually Uddalaka. Here is given a little bit more lineage as given. Uddalaka. Uddalaka is the actually teacher. Aruneya is the teacher. Shwetaketu is the student. They two characters Asa. They are living there. Tagumha pito vacha Shwetaketo vasa brahmacharyam. Tamha, towards Shwetaketu, pito vacha, the father, Aruneya, uvacha, he told him, vasa brahmacharyam. Hey son, you brahmacharyam here means study of Veda, observing celibacy, concentration, avoiding distractions from sensuous distractions, but brahmacharya, vasa. So he's indicating you go to a pravasa, go to a school where Veda is taught and live there and study. Bhagavan Shankaracharya in his commentary clarifies all those stuff. So basically it is you go move on with your life, go to a Gurukula and study Veda. He gives you a reason now. Navai Somya. Hey Somya means a dear one, a gentle one. That's the meaning Somya. Nowadays, a lot of people give the name Saumya. Somya. In this mantra, it comes very often. Hey, dear one, a gentle boy, like that. Hey, dear one, Navai Asmat Kulinaha Ananuchya. In our family, Asmat Kulinaha, born in our family, Ananuchya, not having studied Vedas. Anuchya means learn. Ananuchya means not learn. Ananuchya, Brahma Bandhuriva Bhavati. They were not only introduced themselves as we are Brahma Bandhu, means we are related to people who know Brahma. Sorry, Veda. So, like many of us explain, introduce ourselves as my father was a great scientist, like that. Or in this context, my father was a great scholar, Vedic scholar, or a great Sanskrit scholar. So you don't have an introduction of your own. Brahma Bandhu is your introduction. So Asmat Kule Kulinaha Ananucha Brahma Bandhuriva Bhavatina. They were never like that. Everybody studied Vedas and they were very, very well known by their own knowledge. So he is telling son, so you go and learn. Indirectly he is telling. Saha Dwadasha Varshaha Upetya. I'm just going word by word in mantra number one. Saha means that boy. Dwadasha Varshaha Upetya. For 12 years, he went to study Upetya. Upetya. Chaturvigumsati Varshaha. When he became 24-year-old, means he studied for 12 years. Sarvani Vedan Adhitya. Sarvan Vedan Adhitya. Studied all Vedas. 12 years. Mahamanaha Anujanamani Stabdha Eva Eyaya. He came back. Eyaya, he came back, but he has some change in him. Mahamanaha. He showed himself as a great, knowledgeable, conceited Mahamana. Number one. Anuchanamani. It comes from the word anuvach, dhatu, means learn. So he's thinking he knows all and conceited, anuchanamani. So actually, it's interesting to read Bhagavan's Bhashya, Shankaracharya's Bhashya, apna, real guru. He says, Mahamanaha, Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes, Mahad Gambhiram Mano Yasya Asamam Atmanam Anyehi Manyamanam Mano Yasya Saha Ayam Mahamanaha. Is a it's a samasa. He is saying Mahad Gambhir Mano Yasya Asamam Atmanam Anyehi. I am beyond everybody, nobody is equal to me. Manyamanam, thinking like that, who has that kind of a mind? I am Mahamanaha. That person is called Mahamana. So he's thinking, I know more than anybody else. Mahamanaha. Anuchamani. Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes, Anuchanam Atmanam Manyate iti evam Shilaha Yaha Saha Anuchamani. Anuchamanam, I have studied everything. Anuchanam. Iti eva Shilaha. Who thinks like that? See, earlier I said, last week I said, those who think they know everything, they have trouble learning. Because they don't have Vinaya to study. Vinaya means the proper attitude of surrender. The eyes are here. That is the character here. Yaha anuchanamani. Then he also says, Stabdha eva eyaya. Third word used. Three adjectives are used. Mahamanaha, anuchamani, stabdha. Stabdha Bhagavan Shankaracharya is apranata swabhava. Is Bhagavan Shankaracharya. Apranata swabhava means he does not bow down to anybody. Because he's looking at the eyes of everybody. We are equal or I am higher. You have to, like that kind of, his attitude is like that. 12 years he studied. Tagumha pito vacha. Then father talked, said to him. He noticed it. See, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in chapter 5 Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunucheva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshana. The person of knowledge, spiritual awareness, his indication is Vidya Vinaya Sampanna. Those who really know, who really understand the message of Upanishads, message of teaching of the Vidya, they develop humility. And Bhagavan explains in Sri Krishna, Brahmane Gaviha Sunucheva Panditas, they see oneness in everybody because they see first that first. Then individuality is for transactional purpose. So the teacher, the father realized this has he has actually needs some correction. Pito vacha Shwetaketu yennu soumya mana yennu soumya idam mahamanaha anuchanamani stabdha asi. So he has actually told him, you have now become anuchanamani mahamanaha, arrogant and also feeling you have learnt everything. Anuchanamani, you think you know everything. Stabdha, you have lost the humility. Asi. So therefore, he's asking question, tam adesam aprakshehe. Have you asked the essential purpose of the teaching, adesham? Did you ask about the essential teaching, adesha? Now, here, the essential teaching, the word essential teaching is actually a technical word. So, Bhagavan Shankaracharya gives the exact meaning. कहाते अतिशयः प्राप्तः उपाध्यायात् उतापितम् आदेशम् आदिश्यते इति आदेशः केवल शास्त्र आचार्योपदेशगम्यम् इत्येतत् येन वा परं ब्रह्म आदिश्यते सः आदेशः तम अप्राक्ष्यः पृष्टवान् असि आचार्यम्. What he was saying is that is the teaching which can only be imparted by a guru. And there is nothing higher than this. By which Param Brahma Adeshaha. That is our definition of Adesha. Yena va Param Brahma Adishyate Saha Adeshaha. That by which the essence of your true nature is imparted, that is Adesha. Tam Aprakshaha. Have you asked about it? Pustavan Asya Acharyam. Have you asked this about it? So basically, he noticed this guy has become arrogant and this guy is thinking he knows everything. And it's an indication that he only knows aparavidya, lower levels of knowledge, not the higher levels of, not the higher level of knowledge, this true knowledge. Now he needs to, before that, Bhagavan actually, he says, एवं भूतं हि आत्मनः अननुरूपशीलं स्तब्धं मानिनं पुत्रं दृष्ट्वा पिता उवाच सद्धर्म अवतारचिकीर्षया. Out of the desire to impart upon him the real teaching, he asked the question. Sadharmavatara chikirshaya. Sadharma, existence, consciousness, bliss. This is beautiful. So, chikirshaya, desirous of teaching. That once, which can only be imparted by a guru, because it is Sravana Pradhana. And it is from Shruti Pradhana, Shabda Pradhana. It's not a Pratyaksha Pramana or inference, Anumana Pramana. They use them as examples, but the actual experience is growing beyond out of the mess we create with our mind and intellect and body. Once you know, you see equality in everything. Once you see equality, you have respect for everything. And you don't project. So, Anuchanamani, Mahamana, these are all projections of the mind, the arrogance. Not showing humility in front of elders. So, this is the question he asked. Have you asked that question by knowing which Adesha? I asked about Adesha. That's where it stopped. Now he is explaining what is that Adesha is. Let us do mantra number 3 and 4. Okay. Ena shrutagam srutam bhavati amatam matam विज्ञा अविज्ञातं विज्ञातम् इति कथन्नु भगवः स आदेशो भवति इति. Number 3. Let us do number 4 also. Number 4 is also there? No. Okay. Yes. यथा सौम्य एकेन मृत्पिण्डेन सर्वं मृण्मयं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयं मूर्तिकेव सत्यम. Okay, let me do 3 and 4 together. I normally I do twice. So let us go to 3 back. Yeah, sorry. Okay. येन श्रुतं श्रुतं भवति अमतं मतम् अविज्ञातं विज्ञातमिति कथन्नु भगवो आदेशो भवति इति. यथा सौम्य एकेन मृत्पिण्डेन सर्वं मृण्मयं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयं मूर्तिकेव सत्यम्. So he is elaborating what is the nature of the Adesha, the teaching. Paravidya. Bhagavan Shankaracharya said, this supreme knowledge. He says, Yena asrutam srutam bhavati. By knowing that knowledge, what is never heard becomes heard. Srutam, by ears. Amatam, matam. That which you have not known. Matam actually you have to say what you have not thought of becomes thought of. See, sometimes in language, Telugu, Sanskrit, that's why you got to be careful. The what you have not thought of becomes thought. Anything in the universe, what never heard of, it becomes as though heard. Anything in the universe that you have not thought of becomes thought of as though. Look at this pratijna. This statement. This is called pratijna. Avijnatam vijnatam bhavati. Vijnatam iti. What is not known becomes known. By hearing one, everything becomes heard. By thinking of one, everything becomes as though thought. By knowing one, everything becomes as though known. Look at this statement. Kalks Pratijna, the statement of certainty. This is the essence. You take it or go or leave it. That's how the statement is made. Then the immediately Shwetaketu got a shock of his life because he learned so much. In his thought process, if I know about biology, I don't know about neurology. If I know physics, I don't know chemistry. If I know Sanskrit, I don't know Persian. If I know English, I don't know Italian. So what I know, only that I. If I thought of one particular science, other science, I cannot, I have no knowledge, I have no thought of it. So Shwetaketu got a shock because this guy, his head is in the heavens. So he asked the question, Kadhannu bhagavosa adesho bhavati iti. Look at the change in him. He says Bhagavan. He addressed his father Bhagavan. Already he realized there is thing substantial he has to know. So Katham nu Bhagavan Saha Adeshaha Bhavati iti. What is that teaching? Hey Bhagavan. So he came down to earth and he realized there is a lot he doesn't know. So he said Bhagavan. To his father, he addressed Bhagavan. Very interesting. So that shows the attitude change. So he has the willingness to learn, but he thought he knew everything. And he's acting according to arrogance, according to that state of high mindedness. And he knows as well as anybody else. Then his father successfully brought him down to where he belongs. And that is expressed by saying Bhagavan. How does that kind of teaching, Kadham nu Bhagavaha sa adeshaha bhavati? What is that kind of teaching? Hey Bhagavan, please, question. Then the Aruneya is answering this question. Yadha, number fourth mantra, Yadha Saumya Ekena Mrutpindena Sarvam Murunmayam Vijnatam Syat. Vacharambhanam Vikaro Namadeyam Mritikeva Satyam. So this where we stop a little bit and then we inquire. What he's saying here first is Yadha Somya, hey dear one, Yadha, just like Ekena Mrutpindena Sarvam Mrunmayam Vijnatam. Anything that is made of earth, clay, Sarvam, whatever is made of clay, is nothing but entirely murunmayam. It is nothing but completely clay only. So, if you know a lump of clay, ekena mrutpindena, if you know one lump of clay, everything that is made of clay is nothing but clay. Number one. Number two, this is very profound statement he is going to make now. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. Murtikeva satyam. In Vedanta Shastra, this repeats numerous times. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. All the products or effects are nothing but created by speech. Vacha arambhanam. They are supported in speech. Alambanam, arambhanam the same. They are supported in speech. But actually it is only murtyakeva satyam. It is only clay. But you, by your habit, because of the limitations of the language, you call it one pot, you call it one plate, one vase. If you take a pot and touch it everywhere, everywhere it is nothing but clay. If you take a vase and you touch it everywhere, it is only clay. So also, if you take a plate, everywhere, up, down, below, upside, everywhere it is clay. But you are not looking at the clay, you are only looking at pot. You are only looking at the vase. You are only looking at the vase or the plate. So if you actually look at the root cause, it is clay. Murtyakeva satyam. Murti, sorry, I keep on the murtya. Murtikeva satyam. Murtika means clay. Murtikeva, murtika eva satyam. Murtika eva satyam. So in the past I mentioned during the Mundaka class, effects are many, but the cause is one. So if you take golden ornaments, there are numerous ornaments. Each one of them you call by different name. But cause is only gold. So effect is nothing but cause in a different name. If you take the effect, sorry, if you take the cause out of the effect, effect doesn't even exist. So what is the truth? Is the cause. Now, effects can change. Today it can be a golden necklace. Tomorrow it can be a bangle. But cause doesn't change. What does not change is the truth. This is going to connect with Jagat. It's going to connect with the whole Jagat. Whole Jagat is, so here Vacharambhanam vikaraha. Srusti is nothing but names and forms that are given to something underlying that we miss all the time. One sloka comes to my mind. This is written by Bhagavan Shankaracharya and Durgdrushya Viveka. Srustirnama Brahma Rupe Satchidananda Vastuni Abdophenadivat Sarva Nama Rupa Prasarana. It is nothing but names and forms on which objective world is nothing but names and forms of Bhagavan. Okay, that is called, I will go into deeper now, not now, but just take it from me for the time being. It's a names and forms. The example is not just to say everything is clay. It's only one example is given. But the everything, the whole universe is actually God appearing as though with different names and forms. That is where we are going. And that is nothing but Sat and Chit, consciousness and existence. It will come more and more, but just I want to just tell you, just an overview. In that everything rises, and then you call name, everything is consciousness, but appears as object. To take consciousness out, objects disappear like in deep sleep. That comes in this Upanishad also. They all are appearances in consciousness. Example is only to indicate so that we connect, to understand. There is no object without consciousness. But when objects appear, we forget consciousness. And that is where example you have to use. When the object appear, we forget murtika. So you have to understand how to use example and where to stop the example. So we don't think this guy is what kind of scientist is just giving example of part. No, just apply to yourself. Without your consciousness, your world doesn't exist. Give an example where you are not there and your world was there. Any example. In fact, I can give exact opposite. If you are there, if your mind is not available, you are there, but world is not there. So world is a product of the mind. And consciousness, when flowing through the mind, creates the world. How? By names and forms, in consciousness. But you forget consciousness. That's where he's going. So names and forms indicate something behind it. That's the reason Murtika is given. And now, don't miss, after all this, suddenly don't miss the most important point. What is creation? Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. With all this, suddenly you miss the most important point. Creation is nothing but play of words using Murtika. But you forgot Murtika. In Murtika, all the earthen materials have come up. Murunmayam, all matters, all objects of made of Murtika, Murunmayam, appear as separate, but they are nothing but clay. In the same way, everything is within consciousness, not the other way around. And without that consciousness, your thoughts are not there, your world is not there, your brother is not there, your sister is not there. So they are appearing in your consciousness, including you in your consciousness. It will be proven in more detail, but just I'm getting you the, otherwise you would get stuck with only clay example. So he gives one more example in the verse number 5, mantra number 5. यथा सौम्य एकेन लोहमणिना सर्वं लोहमयं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारंभणं विकारो नामधेयं लोहमित्येव सत्यम्. I will read again. यथा सौम्य एकेन लोहमणिना सर्वं लोहमयं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारंभणं विकारो नामधेयं लोहमित्येव सत्यम्. यथा, second example, yatha saumya, just like, hey Saumya, my dear son, ekena, by one lohamanina, lohamani means gold, lohamanina, sarvam lohamayam vijnatam syat. Everything that is made of gold is known. Vijnatam syat becomes known. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. Lohamityeva satyam. Again, he repeated. Sustirnam Brahma. Same thing, Dugdusha Vega. Brahma Rupe Sachidananda Vastuni. Abdopena Adivat Sarva Nama Rupa Pras. Sushti is nothing but within consciousness, appearance of objects. But they are consciousness only. But you have forgotten consciousness. Your mind is on the Nama Rupa. Drugdrushya Viveka, it is sloka is there. Bhagavan Shankaracharya's work. So, so everything is appearing in consciousness. Now, one more example. Yatha Saumya, ekena lohamanina, by one lump of gold, sarvam lohamayam vijnatam syat. All the materials made of gold are known. If you know gold, all of them are known. If you know consciousness and Sat, you know yourself and the whole universe has appearance in you. How Vacharambhanam Vikaro Namadheyam. It is just play of words. You got caught up in the words. Vacharambhanam Vikaraha Namadheyam. Vacha Arambhanam. It is based upon words. Vikaraha, all the effects. Just Namadheyam is nothing but Vikara. It is only a Abhasa. All the effects are only in words. They are not in there in virginality. Virginal material is consciousness and Sat. You are in that. Sat Vichara is going on now. Vacharambhanam Vikara, it comes very frequently in Bhashyas, various places. Bhagavan Shankaracharya quotes it. Advaita philosophy is clearly says everything is only one, Atman, Satchit, in which everything appears. It's not different from Atman. Then why it is a Vacharambhanam? It is just a play of words in your mind. You are caught up in the objective matter, forgot consciousness. It's a play of words. Since childhood until you die, only in words you think. That is aparavidya, lower level of knowledge. You fight in the aparavidya. But once you have paravidya, whole thing gets synthesized in you, and then you have no problem with anything in the world. Vacharam, lohamityeva satyam. Here earlier, Murtika eva satyam. Here is a lohamityeva satyam. Lohamani, gold, its own is real. Rest of it is only asat, abhasa, mithya. What mithya means? It appears independent, but it is actually something essentially different. Abhasa means the same thing. Asat means the same thing. But when you look at the root cause which is behind it, then it is only a vacharambhanam vikaro namate. It's only your my conditioning by names and forms. Aparavidya, lower level of knowledge. Let us do mantra number 6. यथा सौम्य यथा सौम्य एकेन नखन नख निवु निकृन्तनेन सर्वं कार्ष्णायसं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयं कृष्णायसमित्येव सत्यम् एवगुं सौम्य स आदेशो भवति इति यथा सौम्य एकेन नख निकृन्तनेन सर्वं कार्ष्णायसं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयं कृष्णायसमित्येव सत्यम् एवं सौम्य स आदेशो भवति इति. Excuse me. Now he gives third example. यथा सौम्य एकेन by one नख निकृन्तनेन nail cutter नख निकृन्तनेन by nail cutter one nail cutter सर्वं कार्ष्णायसं विज्ञातं स्यात्. All the items made of iron are known. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadhe. Now here you may call it rod, here you may call it plate, here you may call something else, but it is all nothing but a iron, just like a nakhani kurantana. All of them, but different appearances, different names, and they are all nothing but vacharambhanam vikaro namadhe. They are given names, but material content is Krishnaayasamiti. Means Krishnayasam means black material. Means iron. Ityeva satyam. Satya Krishnayasam ityeva satyam evagum saumya. Sadesho bhavati iti. Like this, the paravidya is important. Now we see in Kathopanishad also, those who relate to there is a awareness being, Sat and Chit. Asti, those who think it is there, they have a chance. What is the nature of that? Asti bhati, priyam, satchit ananda, satyam jnanam anantam. Here you get sat. Those who think that possibility is there, they have a chance. Now they're going to prove, is going to prove now, going forward. But those who do not subscribe to start with, matter is ultimate, then they have no chance. And they also would never get there because they don't have experiential connection. Everything arises in you, plays in you, and goes back to into you. So you are as such it. So Paravidya, the examples are only stop gold with golden objects. The materials of clay stop with the material of clay objects. Materials of iron start. But all encompassing gold, clay, or iron, or you, I, my children, everything is within consciousness. Just like all objects of clay are in clay, all objects of gold are in gold, just like objects of all iron mates are all in iron, all of us as a common cause called Brahman, Atman, Jagat, and also is in it, appears in it, plays in it, dies in it. You have not, you don't die. Just like gold doesn't die when the bangle becomes a chain. You are an appearance in consciousness and such. And that is where he is going. He gives you numerous examples, gives how the creation happens, how our mind gradually shifts into only objects, but not into, forgets this essential nature. And so this Upanishad has numerous examples. Lot of, from chapter 2 to 7, the vichara of tatpada vichara, of the world, vichara, analysis of the world goes on. And gradually you start realizing how beautiful, how scientific this is. So we have done 6 mantras. So we'll start with the next one next month. Next week, sorry, Thursday, we take up. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om